Then the fifth one is pratyahara. Pratyahara, many people describe it in many ways, but there are two requirements of pratyahara. People only say the first requirement. The first requirement in the Yoga Sutra is you need to be able to have inward awareness. So people say pratyahara is turning inward. That is not complete pratyahara. The next sutra, the Yoga Sutra says, is by turning completely inward, you have complete control over all the senses and the sense organs. All the organs in your system, your heart, every part of the system, you have control over. Like for example, if you have enough control, you can make one hand cold and the other hand hot. And the next moment, you can make this hand hot and this hand cold. And you can reduce your heart rate or increase your heart rate. See, these are all involuntary activities, right? You develop voluntary control over them. This is the nature of pratyahara. And what is pratyahara closely associated with? It is associated with the vibrations of the body. And where is the source of vibration? The biochemical reactions within the body. So the zone of pratyahara is the zone of biochemistry or biochemical reactions or the vibrations of our body. So the next one, actually, I will I said the fifth one, but I'm going to tell you something here. The biochemical activity of our body can be balanced by sound vibrations. Okay? They can be balanced by the company you keep. When you are in the company of loving, nice people, you feel nice. Your vibrations feel this thing. If you look at depressed people, when they are in their environment with whoever, all of them, they are in a depressed condition. If they go out of there and they meet yogis, suddenly their depression is gone. And if you look at the biochemical change within their body, the biochemical change has also happened. The serotonin begins to flow more. And, a lot of their activities and things biochemically begin to change as a result of that. So, the zone of pratyahara is the biochemical aspect of the body. Then comes the zone of dharana. Now, dharana, dhyana and samadhi, these three, the Yoga Sutra says, are the more inner dimension than the other five. And what is the dharana element? Dharana element is really control of the mind. Basically, the ability to focus on one point. When you're able to focus your mind on one point of thought, as opposed to the mind running everywhere, that is the state of dharana. Now, if you can have positive affirmation, what kind of affirmations is good for the system? If you mentally tell yourself, prayer is a very important form of dharana. When people say prayer, it doesn't matter which religion, which this thing. When they mentally say a prayer, "Oh God, you have created me for whatever purpose for which only you have the wisdom to know. I surrender my full being to you. Please guide me so that I can serve the purpose for which I have been born." Then in which case, what you have really done is, it's a very powerful dharana. And that is where you're focusing on, the power of thought, right? Similarly, with that as the thought, the next thought you say, there seems to be something wrong in my body, and let's say whatever problem you have, and then you mentally connect and say, let that be fixed in God's will and design. So when you do that, that is a powerful form by which it begins to change. By the way, dharana is the source of modification of the genes in the zone of genetic expression. Okay? You heard earlier today where people today are saying genes don't matter. It's a genetic expression because the genes can be modified, right? How are they modified? The genes don't change. In the biological process, it's called histone modification and methylization of the genes. You have an idea of what they are? Yeah, histone modification and methylization of the genes. You see what it is the histone modification is the DNA has like a little column in between, and the DNA is in the double strand twisted around it. This little stick is called the histone. Okay? When it becomes fatter or longer or taller, it changes the kind of dynamics of how this double helix works through in its functionality. That is histone modification. Now, in each little bucket where you have the DNA, as you know, is a long string with 4 acids in it in different sequences, right? For short, we say ATCG, the 4 acids, right? Now, what happens is each bucket over there, some can become active and some can become deactive. The gene is the same, but some genes can be active and some genes can be non-active. And this happens because, like, there is a little varnish or some kind of a coating that comes on the top of it that prevents activation, or when the varnish is not there, it activates. This is what is called methylization of the genes. So our genes can be modified. The genetic expression can change. And this is in the control of all the positive vibration. Think who is here with us now. We were just talking about the cosmic, our spiritual connectivity. Look behind who is there. So he heard us. He came, right? And so the next one, now we think in terms of, is the dhyana. You see, finally, as cosmic beings who surrender ourselves to the cosmic flow, we have to let go. And when we reach the zone of no thoughts whatsoever, we are focused on one thought or one point of focus. And then even that, as we are focused over there, it suddenly disappears. Everything is gone. Blank mind. There is no mind. No awareness of the body existing. No awareness of anything existing. That becomes the state of dhyana. And from that state, the next state that comes is the state of connectivity into samadhi, the cosmic connectivity. That cosmic connectivity is the state of samadhi. Now, there are various levels of cosmic connectivity. One level of cosmic connectivity, you have a thought and suddenly you find something happening. Like you think of somebody, the phone rings. We were thinking of God and divinity and prayer, and our bishop priest shows up over here, right? So the thing is, you see, this is the nature of the connectivity that we can relate to. But then these are all lower levels of connectivity or lower level. Essentially, a good word to understand from the Western English language perspective is you use the word communion, right? Communion with God. When in Catholicism, when they do this, communion with God, that they do this ritual, right? When they do their mass, right? They have this ritual communion. That is really they're trying to connect with God, right? That is what samadhi does. Now, the lower level I pointed out, as it progresses in the higher level, you don't even need, you can just mentally close your eyes and think whatever you think you have answers for. At the highest level, you can talk to God.